Hey everybody, Tracy Jo Callan here with Callan's Crafting Studio, and in my last video I talked about all the tools and types of materials that I use, but I forgot glue, adhesive. Very important, tons of things out there. What works best? Well, here's my opinion and what I have found to work best. So this little thing right here, this advanced tape glider. Paper, it's great. I use this a lot. Thicker cardstock, sometimes it doesn't always work great, or it will start to come apart, but like when you're making like 3D box cards and little boxes and things like that. So, but this is my go-to for most all of my paper crafts, so I always have this out. But as far as a wet glue, I love this art glitter glue. I've tried various different glues, Scotch brand, some of them even like AC Moore tacky glues, some of the branded tacky glues, they get thick. This one I have not found has gotten thick. I ended up putting it in a smaller bottle. It does come with a another tip to make it smaller, but I really like these little bottles here, and I just keep a pin in the top, and this has got like a little really pin tiny thing, so it gives you a tiny little dab, and as long as I keep my pin in there, it doesn't seem to clog too bad. So I like these little bottles. But the other two types of glues that I use a lot, especially for intricate stuff, is this Zig memory system two-way glue. So there's two different types. There's this one, it has a thicker top, and then there's this one that has an even finer sort of pen top. And there's actually even another one that is kind of in between the two, and that one gets clogged sometimes. This one I just got, so we'll see how this one works. But I love this pen. It's repositionable until it dries. So a lot of times if you use this and you're putting a piece of paper on and you don't get it straight, and you go to pull your paper back off to straighten it out, you'll rip the paper. So I find this is a little more forgiving, and until it's really dry, you can sort of move it around. Same with wet glue, before wet glue dries. I also like this clear liquid glue, Tombow. I think this is, yeah, Tombow liquid glue. It has two ends on it. So it has a fine tip end, and then it has a broader tip sort of end. Kind of see that there. However, sometimes you have to be careful. It is sort of wet. It's very wet, and thinner papers, it will wrinkle your paper. So you want to use this for projects on thicker paper. Even any wet glue is going to wrinkle your paper. So if it's a thinner paper and you want a wet glue versus a tape runner, I highly recommend these. I also have this Xyron dispenser. I don't love it. It's a small one. I know they make bigger ones. You can kind of put small pieces in here and you pull it through, and it kind of makes it tacky and sticky. I waste a lot of the paper. You have to buy refills for it. I got it. I tried it. I don't use it very often. I will probably finish at some point this roll. Probably not buy another roll. So I would say it's probably not my favorite. Another tool, well, actually I got this other new little one too. This is Tombow too. I haven't tried this yet. This is like a pen, and there's glue inside there, and I bet that's going to be awesome for little intricate things. But your adhesives are very important. Now, for some of your bigger projects like paper flowers and stuff, glue gun is the way to go. Be careful. I burn my fingers all the time. If you watch my videos, you know I hate glue guns, but I do have to use them sometimes. So they're pretty inexpensive. This one I like. This one does have a thing where you can put batteries in it, but for some reason that part has died and my batteries weren't working anymore in it. I had rechargeable ones. It wasn't the batteries. They're fine, but it plugs in. It's got a cord on the bottom, but glue gun is the way to go for your heavier cardstock things, or anything like really flowers or stuff where you really need it to bond quickly. And one other thing, I have one of these little bone folders, scoring tools, whatever you call it. I use this all the time to get really good creases on my paper. When you're folding your paper and you run it across the edge of the paper, it does give you a really nice crease on the edge. I also, sometimes the Cricut machine doesn't always score deep enough for me. So sometimes I take this and then I go back over top of the score line before I actually fold it. So I do use this as well. I also have a paper trimmer that I can put the board on that has score lines on it. I guess I can get that and show you what that looks like. I use this one. I think it's We Are Memory Keepers, and it actually folds out into 12 by 12 size paper. So, you know, the machine does score for you, but if it's not strong enough, you can put your paper on here and run the tool across it. And it also has a paper cutter. Sometimes the machine doesn't cut properly the way I need it to, or sometimes I just need a quick certain size paper that it takes too long to load it up and figure it out in design space. Oops, I'll pull that out. I'll put that back in a second. And it's just easier to just cut it on this. So if you're doing paper crafts, this is very helpful in addition to your die cutting machine. So anyway, just wanted to mention those tools as well as the adhesive. I forgot adhesive in my last video, and adhesive is very important because it's what makes everything stick together, and those are the brands that I like. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great day.